Welcome everyone. This is not just another video. This is the video I wish someone made for me when I was lost, broke, confused, angry, tired of watching everyone else succeed while I kept asking myself, what am I doing wrong? Why does money always slip away from me? Why am I working hard but still struggling? Let me tell you something no one will say honestly. The system is not designed to make you rich. The system is designed to keep you busy, distracted, insecure, and broke, so you become a customer for the rest of your life. And here's the truth. Nobody is coming to teach you about money. Not school, not college, not even your parents, because they were never taught either. That's why this video matters, because today, we break that cycle. Today, you stop being a victim of the money game, and you start playing it like a master. This is not about getting rich overnight. This is not about fake hustle culture or Lamborghini dreams. This is about something much deeper. Understanding how money really works, so that no matter where you were born, what you studied, or how poor you feel right now, you will finally learn how to take control of your financial life. No shortcuts, no sugarcoating. Just 12 brutally honest, deeply powerful, emotionally real rules about money. That will change how you think, how you live, and how you build your future. This isn't just a video. This is war. A war between the you who stays confused about money and the you who finally understands it and builds the life others only dream of. Now, let's begin. Rule 1. Money is a tool, not the goal. If you ask most people what they want in life, they say, I want money. But here's the question. Why? What will you do with it? You see, money itself is nothing but paper or numbers on a screen. It has no value until you use it. To create time, to buy freedom, to protect your health, to support your dreams, to build your life. But here's the trap. When people don't understand money, they chase it blindly. They run after jobs they hate. They start businesses they don't care about. They burn out, sell their soul, sacrifice their health, and kill their happiness, just to earn more. But even after they earn more, they still feel empty. They buy a bigger house, but the arguments at home remain. They buy a luxury car, but the loneliness doesn't go away. They get likes on Instagram, but still cry silently at night, because money was never the goal. The goal was always peace, freedom, control over your time, the ability to say no, the chance to help your family, to take care of yourself, and to live on your terms. That's what money is for. It's not a trophy. It's not a number. It's not about looking rich. It's a weapon, a key, a shield, and if you don't understand it, you'll use it the wrong way, or let others use it to control you. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people. Person A earns $100,000 a year. He has a big house, 2 cars, a smartwatch, and expensive clothes. But he's drowning in loans. He works 12 hours a day. He's tired, stressed, and can't take even 1 month off. If he loses his job, his entire life collapses. Person B earns $30,000 a year. He lives in a small apartment. He doesn't wear brands, but he has 0 debt. He invests every month. He works from home, travels when he wants, reads books, and sleeps peacefully. And most importantly, he controls his life. Now tell me, who is truly rich? That's the difference between chasing money and using money wisely. So remember this rule always. Money is not your master. It's your tool. Use it to build peace, not just possessions. Because when you finally understand this, your entire relationship with money will change forever. Rule 2. You don't need to be rich to learn about money. Here's another dangerous lie that ruins people's future. I'll learn about money later, when I start earning more. No, that's how you stay broke forever. Because money doesn't just respond to how much you earn. It responds to how much you understand it. Think about this. If someone gives you $10,000 today, but you've never learned how to manage money, that money will disappear in a few months. You'll buy things you don't need. You'll try to impress people who don't care. You'll fall into credit card traps, bad investments, fake gurus, and lifestyle addiction. And you'll be back at zero, or worse, in debt. That's what happens when you wait to learn about money. Let me tell you something raw and honest. The best time to learn about money is when you have none. Because that's when you're humble. That's when you're hungry. That's when every dollar matters. You don't need millions to read about compound interest. You don't need big salary to learn how to save. You don't need wealth to understand wealth building. You just need to start. Now, read books, watch free videos, learn how banks work, understand inflation, know how debt traps work, learn budgeting, practice saving, track your spending, because when the money does come, and it will, you'll be ready. You'll protect it, grow it, multiply it, use it with purpose. Let me give you an example. A poor boy earns $300 a month, but he saves $30. He reads one money book every month. He learns how to budget, how to build credit, how compound interest works. He starts investing small, learns about tax, avoids bad debt, lives below his means. 10 years later, he's financially stable. While people earning 5 times his salary are still living paycheck to paycheck. How? Because he understood money before he earned more. So please remember this. Don't wait for more money to learn about money. Learn now, and more money will come to you and stay with you. This one rule can change your destiny. Rule 3. Time is more powerful than money. Most people think the secret to building wealth is earning more money. Wrong. The real secret is understanding the power of time. Because time is the only thing you can't buy, borrow, beg, or steal. Here's the truth. Time is what separates the rich from the poor. Not talent, not education, not even hard work. Let me explain. There's something called compound growth, the most powerful force in the financial world. It means this. If you plant a seed today, water it, and wait, it doesn't just grow into a tree. It produces more seeds, which grow into more trees, and those trees give more fruit, and that fruit creates more seeds. That's how money grows, not by earning big, but by starting early and letting time do the heavy lifting. Let's take 2 friends. Alex starts investing at age 20. He puts $100 every month into a simple index fund. Nothing fancy, just $100 per month. He keeps doing it till he's 30. That's 10 years equals $12,000 total. Ben starts at age 30. He also invests $100 per month, but he does it until he's 60. That's 30 years equals $36,000 total. Now guess what happens? Even though Alex only invested for 10 years and Ben invested for 30 years, Alex ends up with more money. Why? Because he gave his money more time to grow. That's the brutal magic of compound interest. Your money earns interest. Then your interest earns interest. Then your interest's interest earns more interest. And soon, it grows like a snowball rolling down a mountain. But most people don't get this. They say, I'm young. I'll start saving later. I'll invest after I earn more. I'll think about the future when I'm older. And by the time they start, it's too late. They lost the one thing they can never get back: time. So let me say this as clearly as I can. Start now. Even if it's just $5, even if it's just saving in a jar, even if it feels small, even if it doesn't feel like real money. Because it's not about how much, it's about when. And when you start early, time becomes your best friend. But if you wait, time becomes your biggest enemy. Here's what no one tells you. Every day you delay. Every week you say, I'll do it next month. Every year you say, I'll start when I earn more. You are burning money. Not spending, burning. The money that could have been yours is disappearing into the hands of someone who started before you. So if you're watching this right now, this is your alarm clock. This is your second chance. Don't wait for someday. Someday is not a day of the week. Start now, because time is your richest currency. And once it's gone, it never comes back. Rule 4, control money, or it will control you. Let me ask you something serious. Do you know where every dollar, every rupee, every pound of your income goes every month? Do you track it, or does it vanish? If you don't control your money, it will start controlling your life, quietly, silently, dangerously. Here's what happens when you don't have control over your money. You live paycheck to paycheck, even with a decent salary. You panic when an emergency comes. You avoid checking your bank account out of fear. You say yes to things you can't afford, just to avoid judgment. You borrow from credit cards or friends just to survive. You feel tired, stressed, ashamed, like a prisoner with invisible chains. And slowly, money becomes your master. You don't decide what you want to do in life. Your bills do. You don't quit a toxic job. Your rent doesn't allow it. You don't travel, dream, or take risks, because money holds the remote control of your life. But here's the truth. You were born to be free, not controlled by numbers, not scared of money, not a slave to your expenses. You don't need to be rich to take back control. You just need to do one thing. Tell your money where to go, instead of wondering where it went. That's called budgeting. But most people hate that word. They think it's boring, or for poor people. Wrong. Budgeting is not punishment. It's power. It's how you take control back. It's how you say, this is my money. I worked hard for it, and now I choose how it serves me. Imagine you get $500 this month, and you don't plan it. You buy food, coffee, clothes, order takeout, scroll Amazon, lend a friend some money, swipe your card at the movies. End of the month. You have $4 left. You feel guilty. You say, where did it go? You get stressed. You repeat the cycle. Now imagine the same $500. But this time, you plan every dollar. Rent, $150. Food, $100. Transport, $50. Savings, $50. Emergency fund, $30. Fun money, $50. Education, $20. MISC, $50. Now every dollar has a purpose. You still enjoy your life, but with control. And most importantly, you don't feel lost. You feel strong, calm, clear, confident, because you're the boss, not the victim. So remember this. Money loves clarity. Money obeys order. Money respects discipline. The moment you stop treating money like a mystery and start treating it like a plan, it starts working for you. Because money has only two options. Either you control it, or it controls you. And I promise you, life is so much better when you're the one in charge. Rule 5. Avoid looking rich. Focus on becoming rich. There's a silent war going on, and most people are losing without even realizing it. Not because they're lazy, not because they're unlucky, but because they are busy trying to look rich instead of actually becoming rich. The world today is addicted to appearances. A 22-year-old scrolls through Instagram, sees someone her age in Dubai sipping champagne, holding a designer bag, and thinks, "I'm falling behind." A man in his 30s feels embarrassed pulling up in an old car while his friend just leased a new BMW. So, what does he do? He upgrades too, even if it means debt, stress, and pretending. This is how the world traps you. It sells you the illusion of success, so you spend your real money to look like you have more than you do. And in doing so, you lose the game. Let me give you an example that will open your eyes. There are 2 types of rich people. 1. The loud poor rich. These people wear luxury, flex vacations, post every meal, and talk big. But behind the scenes, they are buried in credit card debt. They're emotionally exhausted. They don't sleep peacefully. And if they lose their job, their entire image collapses. Why? Because they are rich on the outside, poor on the inside. 2. The quiet true rich. They drive simple cars, wear regular clothes, eat at home, no gold chains, no bragging, no flexing. But behind the scenes, they have savings, investments, freedom, peace, and power. If a crisis comes, they don't panic. They write a check. If they lose a client, they don't break down. They have 5 more income streams. They are rich on the inside, even if they look simple outside. That's who you want to become. Looking rich is easy. Buy things you can't afford. Use money you don't have. Impress people who don't care. But real wealth? That takes discipline, sacrifice, long-term thinking, quiet moves, years of saying no to the wrong things. Here's the real truth. The people who look the richest often have the least wealth. And the people who look the simplest often have the deepest financial strength. Let me make it even clearer. Real success is when you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Real power is walking into a room and knowing you can afford everything, but choosing to buy nothing. Real freedom is saying no, not yes. Real wealth is peace of mind, not pictures for likes. So ask yourself, are you spending to look successful or to build success? Are you trying to impress or trying to grow? Are you looking rich or becoming rich? Because if you keep chasing appearance, you'll stay broke forever. But if you start chasing wisdom, patience, and quiet growth, you'll build a life that no camera can capture. And that, my friend, is where real wealth lives. Rule 6. Spend less than you earn. No matter what, this is the oldest, simplest, and most ignored rule in money. But it is the foundation of everything. If you break this rule, no amount of talent, ambition, or luck will save you. But if you live by it, even if you earn little, you will win the game. Here's the rule. Spend less than you earn. Always. No matter how little you earn. No matter how big your dreams are. Because if you don't, you are running backwards on a treadmill. Imagine 2 people. Person A earns $5,000 a month and spends $5,500. Person B earns $1,200 a month and spends only $1,000. Now, most people will say, wow, person A is earning great. But look closely. Person A is actually going backwards every month. They are creating a minus. Person B is going forward, even if slowly. They are creating a plus. One is building a hole. The other is building a wall. One is building a trap. The other is building freedom. It doesn't matter how much you earn. It only matters how much you keep. You don't become rich by earning more. You become rich by keeping more of what you earn and letting it grow. Let me take this even deeper. Most people think their problem is income, but 80% of the time it's actually spending. They get a raise. They upgrade everything. They earn a bonus. They buy new clothes, new gadgets, new furniture. And when the next emergency hits, they're broke again. Why? Because they didn't learn how to live below their means. This rule is not about living poor. It's about living smart. It's about controlling your lifestyle so you don't become a slave to it. You know what's more dangerous than poverty? Pretend wealth. The kind that keeps you smiling outside and crying at night inside. Here's a challenge for you. No matter what your income is, commit this to yourself. I will always save something, even if it's $1. I will never spend 100% of my income. I will separate wants from needs. I will build a habit of keeping more before I dream of earning more. Because this is the habit that builds millionaires. Not a big salary, not a lucky business, but the simple decision to spend less than you earn every single month. And if you think, but I'm not earning enough to save, let me tell you the brutal truth. If you can't save $10 out of 100, you won't save $1,000 out of 10,000. Because saving is not about income. It's about discipline. So build that now, even with small amounts. Because if you can control the small money, one day you'll be trusted with the big money. And when that day comes, you'll look back and say, this one habit saved my life. Rule 7. Make your money work for you. Or you'll work for money forever. This rule is the line between freedom and slavery. Because here's the hard truth nobody wants to say out loud. If your only source of income is your time, then you're not free. You're trapped. Let me explain why. Most people trade time for money. They work 8 hours. They get paid. If they stop working, the money stops too. But time is limited. You only get 24 hours a day. So what happens? You work harder. You work longer. You sacrifice weekends. You say no to your dreams, your family, your health, just to earn enough to survive. That is not living. That is surviving. And you can't escape this trap until you understand one life-altering principle. Money must also work, just like you do. Your money should go out into the world like an employee and come back to you with more money. If you earn $1,000, and that's all you ever have, you will always stay stuck. But if you earn $1,000 and invest $200 of it wisely, then that $200 starts growing. It starts earning interest. It starts creating income. Without your hands, your time, your labor. That's called passive income. And it's how real wealth is built. Imagine two people again, but this time not based on salary. Sarah works as a teacher. Every month she saves a little and buys dividend-paying stocks. She doesn't understand everything, but she learns slowly. After 5 years, her investments give her $150 per month. That $150 pays her electricity bill. She keeps investing. 10 years later, her investments cover half her rent. 15 years later, she doesn't need to work anymore. Jason, on the other hand, earns double her salary but never invests. He lives bigger, eats out more, buys the latest phone, drives a new car. He looks successful, but he must keep working forever. If he stops, his income ends. If he gets sick, he has nothing. Sarah now has time. Jason has chains. Why? Because Sarah made her money work. Jason only worked. Understand this. Wealth is not about working harder. It's about building income that doesn't require your presence. Your goal should be this. I want to make money while I sleep, while I'm sick, while I travel, while I'm with family, while I'm living. And to do that, you must invest. Invest in assets, stocks, bonds, real estate. Skills that pay you again and again. Businesses that grow even when you rest. Knowledge that teaches you how to multiply wealth. Even if it's small in the beginning, it doesn't matter. Start where you are. Learn as you go. Because every dollar you make work for you is one step closer to freedom. So remember this rule for life. If you don't make your money work, you will keep working like a machine until your body breaks. And by then, it's too late. Build now, grow now, invest now. So one day, your money walks for you, while you walk free. Rule 8. Debt can be a trap, unless you learn to master it. This rule is dangerous, because when people misunderstand it, they either stay poor or they destroy their future. Let's go deeper. Most people are living under the silent weight of debt. Not the kind that builds wealth, but the kind that eats it. Credit card bills, buy now, pay later schemes, luxury phones on EMIs, instant loans, lifestyle upgrades, peer pressure purchases. They think they're living well. But what they're really doing is selling their future to pay for their present. Let me say that again. They are giving up their future peace for today's comfort. And that is the most expensive trade you'll ever make. Imagine you borrow $2,000 to buy a new laptop, some clothes, and take a small vacation. The loan has 20% interest. Now you don't just owe $2,000, you owe $2,400. And that's if you pay it off fast. If you delay payments, you owe more. Late fees stack up. Interest compounds. And suddenly, that fun $2,000 decision turns into years of stress, sleepless nights, and being chased by banks. All because of one thing. You use debt to feel good, instead of using it to grow. Here's the truth that poor people never learn. Bad debt is for spending. Good debt is for growing. Bad debt takes money from your pocket. Good debt brings money back. Let me show you the difference. Buying a TV with a loan equals bad debt. Buying a rental property with a loan that pays rent every month equals good debt. Swiping your card to buy shoes equals bad debt. Using a business loan to launch a product that earns profit equals good debt. One makes you look rich and feel weak. The other makes you look ordinary and build power. So here's what I want you to remember. If you're already in debt, it's not too late. You can fight back. Stop using more debt. Don't add fire to fire. Make a clear repayment plan. Every dollar paid back is freedom gained. Cut unnecessary expenses. Your temporary sacrifice is your permanent peace. Start building a small emergency fund so you never fall into debt again. And most of all, change your beliefs. You are not weak because you made mistakes. You are powerful because you're willing to change. Debt is not your identity. It's just a challenge. And you can win if you stop escaping and start taking charge. And if you haven't fallen into debt yet, guard yourself. Because debt doesn't start big. It starts small. A small loan, a small swipe, a small, I deserve this. And slowly, you become someone who owes everyone and owns nothing. But if you learn to master debt, you'll use it as a ladder, not a trap. You'll borrow with purpose. You'll invest with clarity. You'll grow with discipline. And that's how you turn the most dangerous weapon into the most powerful tool. Rule 9. Money grows in silence. Noise kills. Wealth, this rule goes deep into the psychology of wealth. And here's what it says. If you keep talking about money, showing money, chasing applause for money, you'll never build real wealth. Because real money is not loud. It's not flashy. It's not noisy. Real money is quiet, focused, private, strategic, invisible. Let me explain. In today's world, everything is a performance. People don't just eat food. They post it. They don't just buy a car. They record the keys. They don't just succeed. They announce it before it even happens. Why? Because people want validation. They want attention. They want to be seen as making it. But here's the cost of that behavior. The more you seek approval, the more you sabotage your progress. Because chasing approval is expensive. You buy what you can't afford. You talk about ideas instead of executing them. You worry about how people see you instead of how your money grows. And this creates a toxic loop. Every time you succeed, you announce it. And now you feel pressure to maintain that image. So you stop learning. You stop saving. You start performing. And eventually, you collapse. There are two people building a business. The first one announces every win online, talks about every client, buys new clothes, rents a luxury office for branding. He gets followers, applause. But behind the curtain, his profits are shrinking. He burns out. His growth stops. The second person says nothing. She works in silence, keeps expenses low, saves everything, reinvests quietly, builds a network without flexing. 3 years later, no one even saw it coming. She's financially independent, while the first one is now in debt. Why? Because money grows in silence. Here's the deepest truth. The more you focus on being seen as successful, the more you delay actually becoming successful. So stop explaining your moves. Stop sharing every step. Stop trying to impress people who don't care. Impress yourself. In silence. Let your results speak after 5 years, not your posts after 5 days. Protect your energy. Protect your goals. Protect your peace. Because money grows best in quiet rooms, in late nights, in long mornings, in simple clothes, in low noise. So from today, make this your rule. Build in silence. Move in silence. Grow in silence. And when it's done, let your life make the noise. That's the mindset that builds wealth no one can take from you. Rule 10. Don't rely on one source of income. That's financial suicide. This rule is not optional. This is survival. Because relying on just one income source is like standing on one leg during an earthquake. The moment it shakes, you fall. Let me break this down fully. Most people in the world rely on one thing: their job. That's where all their money comes from. Their rent, food, savings, dreams, family, plans. Everything depends on that one paycheck. And when that paycheck delays, or that company lays off, or that boss turns toxic, or that industry crashes, their entire world breaks. Not because they were lazy, not because they were wrong, but because they were dependent. They put all their weight on one leg and never built the second one. That is financial suicide. So here's what you need to know. 1, income is dangerous. 2 is survival. 3 is stability. 4 is freedom. The most successful people in the world don't have just jobs. They have income systems. Their job gives them monthly income. Their freelance skill gives them weekend income. Their investments give them passive income. Their side business gives them long-term income. Their knowledge gives them online course income. None of these started big, but each one became a new pillar. Clara, a full-time nurse, realized she couldn't depend on one paycheck forever. So she used her weekends to build a small online store selling handmade soaps. She learned slowly, failed, improved. After a year, it started making her $300 a month. She used that to invest in dividend stocks. Then she created a short online course about skincare routines. Another $200 a month. 2 years later, she still works as a nurse. But now she has 3 extra streams of income. She's not rich yet, but she's no longer afraid of losing her job. She's no longer one step away from disaster. She's stable, confident, growing. That's the power of building multiple income streams. You don't need to start 5 at once. Start with 1. Ask yourself, what skill do I have that I can sell online? Can I teach something, write something, design something, build something, fix something? Can I create a small digital product? Can I rent something I own? Can I partner with someone who has a product? The internet has made it easier than ever to create side income. But you have to stop saying, "I'll do it one day," and start now. Because here's the harsh truth. If you only have one income, then you are one emergency away from poverty. But if you build multiple income paths, even slowly, even quietly, you will become unshakable. So from today, make this your mission. I will never depend on just one income. I will build, I will learn, I will create. Because my future deserves more than just survival. It deserves freedom. Rule 11. Study money like a student, or stay a slave to it forever. Let's start with a painful truth. You were not born knowing how money works. You were not taught it in school. Your parents likely didn't explain it either. And society, it just told you to work hard, save some money, and hope for the best. That's why most people, no matter how smart they are, remain financially weak. Not because they're stupid, not because they're lazy, but because they never studied how money actually works. And here's what most people never understand. Money is not just paper. It's a subject, a language, a system, a science, a psychology, and like any subject, if you don't study it, you fail it. Just like physics, just like medicine, just like law. If you don't study money, you suffer. But if you decide to become a student of money, your life begins to change. Slowly, then suddenly, you start seeing the traps. You start understanding decisions. You start recognizing patterns. You stop blaming the world. You start controlling your life. For example, there are 2 people, same age, same job, same salary. Both earn $2,000 per month, but their lives go in completely different directions. Person A never studies money. They live based on instinct. They save a little, buy what they feel like, trust banks blindly, avoid reading, avoid learning. They believe money is too complicated or boring. 10 years later, they have nothing to show for it. Person B, however, becomes a money student. Not in school, but in life. They read books on financial literacy. They follow trusted voices. They take notes. They study taxes, investments, mindset, psychology of spending, compounding, leverage, passive income, inflation, currency history. They study for 30 minutes a day. And 10 years later, even with the same job, they are financially stable. They have peace, they have options, they have power. The only difference? One studied, one didn't. So let me ask you something. If you can spend hours scrolling through social media, if you can watch 10 seasons of a show, if you can research the best phone before buying it, why can't you give 30 minutes a day to the one thing that will determine your entire future? Because here's the raw truth. If you don't study money, you'll work for those who do, for the rest of your life. People say, but I'm not good with numbers. You don't need to be. You just need to be good with discipline. People say, but I don't know where to start. Start with a book. Start with a video. Start with your bank statement. Start by asking questions. Start by listening. Because every time you study money, you are saving yourself from future regret. Do not wait for a crisis to start learning. Do not wait for a job loss, a medical bill, a failed investment, a betrayal. Learn now, so you can protect everything you love when the storm comes. And remember, life does not reward the smartest. It rewards the most prepared. So become a student of wealth, a student of patterns, a student of success, a student of financial freedom, because 1 hour of studying money can save you 10 years of pain. Rule 12. Your beliefs about money shape your entire life. Fix them or stay trapped forever. This is the final rule. And it's the most important. Because even if you follow every other rule, if this one is broken, nothing will ever work. Here it is. Your beliefs about money, what you think, feel, and assume, create your entire financial destiny. Not your job, not your education, not your luck, not your intelligence, just your beliefs. Because your beliefs control your behavior, and your behavior controls your results. Let me show you how this works, in the most real and honest way. If you grew up hearing, money is evil, rich people are greedy, money doesn't grow on trees, we're not the kind of people who get rich, don't talk about money, it's rude, then those beliefs sink deep into your subconscious. And even when you grow up, you carry them silently. You sabotage your own success. You reject opportunities. You feel guilty when you earn more. You undercharge your services. You ignore investing. You spend carelessly. You play small. And worst of all, you don't even know you're doing it. Because your subconscious belief is stronger than any logic. You could be the smartest person in the room and still stay broke because of one sentence you heard at age 7. That's how powerful beliefs are. For example, Daniel was raised in a struggling household. His parents worked hard but never had enough. They used to say, money isn't everything, but they always fought about it. They said, people like us never get rich. Daniel believed that. So even when he became an adult, he never chased money seriously. He felt like success belonged to other people. He thought money was dirty, stressful, distant. So what happened? He worked jobs far below his potential. He avoided asking for raises. He never invested. He gave up on business ideas too soon. He stayed broke, not because of money, but because of mindset. Now let's talk about Leah. She was raised by a single mom who taught her, money is power, learn about it. Don't fear it, don't worship it, use it. Leah believed that. She studied hard, asked questions, built side income, learned negotiation, took courses, grew slowly, failed sometimes. But she kept growing because she believed she could. Today, Leah is not just financially free. She's mentally free. Not because her life was easier, but because her beliefs were stronger. So what about you? What do you believe about money? Do you believe you're worthy of wealth? Do you believe money is a tool for good? Do you believe you can learn anything even if you started late? Do you believe you can break the cycle? Because if you don't fix your beliefs, no rule, no system, no strategy will work. But if you change your beliefs, even before the money comes, your entire life will shift. So here's what I want you to say to yourself right now with full power. I am no longer scared of money. I am learning. I am growing. I am building. I deserve freedom. I deserve peace. I will master money inte and use it to protect the people I love. I will break the cycle. I will not repeat the past. I will be the first in my family to be free. Because this is not just about getting rich. This is about healing. This is about growth. This is about becoming the person your younger self always needed. Fix your beliefs, and money will follow. Stay trapped in old beliefs, and you'll keep repeating the same life. The choice is yours. Right now. Forever. You've made it to the end. And if you're still here, that means something inside you is awake now. Something real. Something strong. You've seen the truth. Not just about money, but about yourself. Because this video was never just about saving or earning. It was about freedom. It was about power. It was about finally saying, I will not live confused anymore. I will not live afraid anymore. I will not die poor in knowledge ever again. The world may not have taught you about money, but today, you taught yourself. You learned that wealth is not about luck. It's about habits. It's about decisions. It's about breaking generations of silence and saying, it ends with me. It begins with me. So from this day forward, don't just exist. Building, don't just spend. Grow, don't just survive. Lead. You don't need permission. You don't need perfect timing. You don't need anyone to save you. You need one thing only. The decision to never be broke in mindset again. Because when you change your relationship with money, you change your relationship with your future, with your family, with your legacy. And that change starts today. So if this message moved something inside you, if you learned something you wish you had known years ago, don't keep this to yourself. Share it, rewatch it, live it, teach it, and most of all, subscribe, because we're building something bigger here. Not just videos, not just knowledge. We're building a revolution of people who were once silent about money, but are now powerful, peaceful, and unstoppable. This is your time now, your chapter, your life. Take it back, and never give it away again.